Let's quickly shift our focus to the latest coming in with regards to the MEA response on the Bilawal Bhutto remark on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That's a detailed statement coming in. And before I take it across to Srinjoy, let me quickly go across to my colleague Priya joining us with more details. A detailed response from the MEA talking about how these comments are a new low even for Pakistan. Priya, take us through the main points.
Right, Christine, right now I have the official response from the Ministry of External Affairs in India to what they call, as you've already told our viewers, Pakistan Foreign Minister's uncivilized remarks. And in response to media queries, this document says regarding Pakistan Foreign Minister's uncivilized remark, Sri Arindam Bagchi says that Pakistan has obviously forgotten this day in 1971, because remember, today is December 16, the very day that is celebrated in India as Vijay Divas, and Pakistan had to suffer a humiliating defeat at the hand of our forces. It's a new low even for Pakistan. Remember, our expectations from the country are not very high to begin with in the first place. 1971 was a direct result of the genocide unleashed by Pakistani rulers against ethnic Bengalis and Hindus. A point-by-point rebuttal coming in from the MEA, given the butcher reference made by Bilawal Bhutto there, Christine. Unfortunately, Pakistan does not seem to have changed much in the treatment of its minorities. It certainly lacks credentials to cast aspersions on India. At recent conferences and events have demonstrated counter-terrorism remains high on global agenda. Pakistan's indisputable role in sponsoring, harboring and actively financing terrorists and terror organizations remains under the scanner. And in that light, MEA says Pakistan Foreign Minister's uncivilized outburst seems to be a result of Pakistan's increasing inability to use terrorists and their proxies. Not just this, Bilawal Bhutto and Pakistan had also tried to push and shift the spotlight on India for fostering terror, to which S. Jaishankar has very promptly and rightly replied, the world is not stupid. And the MEA now coming out with
India
this
calling out Pakistan for the below-the-belt remark by Bilawal Bhutto. Let's see how that plays out, because India is certainly not taking it lightly at the moment. And before I go across to Srinjoy, let's quickly play out that hateful remark made by Bilawal Bhutto, launching a personal attack against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Listen in.
I'd like to remind the Honourable Foreign Minister of or the Minister for External Affairs of India that Osama Bin Laden is dead, but the butcher of Gujarat lives, and he is the Prime Minister of India. He was banned from entering this country until he became Prime Minister. This is the Prime Minister of the RSS and the Foreign Minister of the RSS. What is the RSS? The RSS draws its inspiration from Hitler's SS.
All right, let's quickly go across to Rishabh as well in the meanwhile. Rishabh, protests broke out outside the Pakistan High Commission. What can you tell us about the voices you're picking up on ground as well?
So, if you see, there was a protest here in front of Chanakyapuri police station, moving toward the Pakistan High Commission. The protesters have been dispersed as of now by the police, but the barricades are still in place. When we spoke to a few people here, everyone had the same thing to say, that Bilawal Bhutto doesn't have a stature to comment on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And even as the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, if he's saying something, there is a way to say it. It wasn't a civilized, it wasn't a parliamentary language to use for a head of government of any country. And that's the reason that the supporters, the workers of Bharatiya Janata Party had gathered here in Chanakyapuri to protest against Pakistan Foreign Minister's derogatory comment against the Indian Prime Minister. The protest was led by senior BJP leaders, including Vijender Gupta, Ramveer Buduri, and the young MP from Karnataka, Tejasvi Surya. And all in their speech, they were like, can Bilawal Bhutto actually say anything to Prime Minister? Tejasvi Surya took a pot shot at Bilawal Bhutto, saying that since no one in the world wants to make diplomatic relationship with Pakistan, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan does not have any work, and in that frustration, such comments are coming in from Bilawal Bhutto.
Okay, Srinjoy, no wrong in our External Affairs Minister calling Pakistan an epicenter of terrorism, that seems to have irked Pakistan so much that, their elected representatives and people sitting in that kind of authoritative position today are making these kind of derogatory and unacceptable remarks against the Prime Minister of our country.
Well, I'll just word butcher. And if you remember Bangladesh, that was a time when many 100,000, many lakhs of Bengalis were massacred between March and December 1971. And there were women, many hundred women who were assaulted. All those things happened. Millions of people fled to India. Professors, scientists, students, intellectuals were all routinely killed. I only want to discuss that one word, butcher, because at that time, when all this was happening, Bilawal Bhutto's grandfather was one of the senior most political leaders in Pakistan. He was in a position of authority and he never said a word. What can Bilawal Bhutto say now? Can Bilawal Bhutto explain why Pakistan said, forget about the government, the military regime in East Pakistan, but no one in Pakistan, including Bilawal Bhutto's grandfather, the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, said a word about the massacre of people in Bangladesh. And not just anybody, professors, scientists, as I said, there were assaults on women, which was unheard of. Those pictures caused consternation in the West so much that they were very firmly on India's side. Even Edward Kennedy, who was American, came to see those refugee camps in 1971. And India was widely supported, apart from the Nixon administration, primarily because of butchery in Bangladesh. And Bilawal Bhutto's grandfather, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, has never said a word, never, between March and December 71. He never said a word. And has anyone in Pakistan apologized for the massacre?
Despite the fact that Pakistan continues to sponsor and harbor terrorism and terrorist organizations, India now coming out with a point-by-point rebuttal to what the Foreign Minister of Pakistan has said, that Pakistan does not seem to have changed much in the treatment of its minorities. Forget how they're treating terrorists within their territory. It certainly lacks credentials to cast aspersions at the mother of democracy. That's the MEA response coming in. But first up, listen into what External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had said.
Before I call on the next speaker, allow me to say a few words in my national capacity. We are obviously focused today on the urgency of reforming multilateralism. We will naturally have our particular views, but there is an ongoing convergence, at least, that this cannot be delayed any further. The credibility of the UN depends on its effective response to the key challenges of our times, be it pandemics, climate change, conflicts, or terrorism. While we search for the best solutions, what our discourse must never accept is the normalization of such threats. The question of justifying what the world regards as unacceptable should not even arise. That certainly applies to state sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. Nor can hosting Osama Bin Laden and attacking a neighboring parliament serve as credentials to sermonize before this council. That said, I thank all council members for their contributions.
In the meanwhile, a short while ago, we saw some of the BJP leaders, top BJP leaders, BJP Karyakartas also stage a protest against Bilawal Bhutto's remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi outside the Pakistan High Commission. Here are some of those voices.
हमारे विदेश मंत्री ने यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल में पाकिस्तान को नंगा किया है। बिलावल भुट्टो अपनी खींच उतार रहे हैं, उनके पास कहने को कुछ नहीं है, इसलिए उनकी ओछी मानसिकता नजर आ रही है। उनको ये बात समझनी चाहिए कि आज 16 दिसंबर है, आज ही के दिन पाकिस्तान के 93,000 सैनिकों ने हमारी सेना के सामने घुटने टेके थे। वो अपने हश्र ना भूले, उड़ी में हम उनको उनके घर में घुस के मार चुके हैं। प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, पूरे देश में प्रोटेस्ट हो रहे हैं। ये हर भारतीय का अपमान है और हर भारतीय इसका बदला लेगा।
देखिए, पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री ने जिस तरह का स्टेटमेंट दिया है, दुनिया भर के लोग पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री की निंदा कर रहे हैं। आज हजारों की संख्या में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता पाकिस्तान दूतावास के बाहर एकत्रित हुए हैं और पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री से मांग करते हैं कि वो पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री को बर्खास्त करें।
देखिए, अगर प्यार से मांगे तो हम खीर देंगे, क्योंकि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, प्यार से हम मान जाते हैं। लेकिन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री को अपशब्द बोलेगा तो चाकू से बिलावल भुट्टो के बीच में से चीर देंगे। हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद है, जिंदाबाद रहेगा। हम प्रधानमंत्री के खिलाफ एक शब्द भी नहीं सुनेंगे। बिलावल भुट्टो को माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
बिलावल भुट्टो ने जो प्रधानमंत्री के खिलाफ अपशब्द बोले हैं, हम पाकिस्तान एम्बेसी पे जाके उनको ये चेताना चाहते हैं कि वो माफी मांगे। बिलावल भुट्टो, पाकिस्तान सरकार माफी मांगे हिंदुस्तान सरकार से, ये हमारी मांग है।